Um, Hi, welcome to this channel. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to tell you my story the way I remember it, exactly how I remember it. Everything that happened from point A to point B. I'm a little nervous, but I plead with you to bear with me. For the purposes of safety, I'm not going to reveal my real identity or where I actually come from, but I'm going to try to keep the locations of these events as real as possible. Unless if they reveal my current location, then I'll omit a few details, but for as long as they don't, the ones far back anyways, I'm going to just say them as they are. So I'm also going to omit the real identities of the people I'm going to be mentioning in this series, and this is your warning. If you have some trauma that you haven't healed from, or if you are sensitive, then please do click off this video before it goes deep, because we are going to go deep. We're going to take a head dive. I would also like to mention that I have never received any form of therapy. I would love to, but I haven't. I don't even know if any type of therapy could help me with the problems that I've had to deal with or my trauma. But I'm just going to share my story. Hopefully someday I can print it out in a book, have the confidence to do that. But for now, I'm just going to record it in a series of episodes. And I advise you to watch, or listen rather, from episode 1 so that you can get the full story of what really happened, how it happened. So let's take a walk together. Dear Diary. And then when you go to the left, deeper into the bush, there was another clearing of the bush where this was where the headmaster used to stay with his family and his wife. They cleared the bush for them and built another mud house for them there, which was pretty secluded. So I guess he had the he had the privilege of having seclusion and privacy, but that was his yard, right? So this was the beginning of the first few years. Later on, during the years, behind the teacher's compound building, the long rectangular one, when you walked deeper into the forest, there was a new teacher who came into the... Oh no, he wasn't a teacher, he was the gardener. He was the school gardener. When the school became more... when it started having more students, they could afford a gardener, and he was placed behind the teacher's compound, which is a little far back behind the shower and the toilet, and that's where he lived with his 2 wives. He had 2 wives. So I'll come to those stories. So that was the layout. Yeah, that was the layout. Going back to the director's house, the first house we see when we walk into the compartment, the compound for the teachers, right? On the director's house was on the right, and then on the left there was a clearing of the bush, that's where they used to, do the carpentry, and it was just like a workshop area where people would just go for their creatives and create their own tables, chairs, beds with out of the wood in the bush. So, yeah. So yeah, that was the layout. Now let's start with the story. Trigger warning. From here on out, I'm gonna say the memories as I remember them. I'm not gonna be able to keep track of what incident happened when in what part of the timeline, because as the memories got harsher and harsher, everything started just getting mixed and wobbly in my memory. So bear with me. So yeah, first memory. Let me just start with the most gruesome one, and then I'll go down the memory lane to the more beautiful ones, because yeah, I think it's gonna take a toll on me just thinking I have to get there, I have to get there, I have to get there. Okay, so yeah, let's fast forward. Okay, we'll come back to how it all began, where it all started. Let's just fast forward to the very end of this duration of time in this horrible place. So I'm trying to speak, but I'm failing to find the courage. Is that just words? Anyway, so when I was finally doing my grade 7, standard 7, grade 7, whatever way people call it, where you are as you're listening. This was the year when my older sister had finished her primary school, so she had gone to high school, and I was left alone. There was no one. All the other kids that used to be there, their parents took them out. This lady put me in a house at the end of the teacher's compound. The house was like the storage unit for everybody in that compound, and it was the one right next to the toilet, at the far end of the compound, next to the bush. She put me in that room, and there was so much storage around it. There was barely any space to move around. There was just one bed in the middle that had remained there from the previous owner of the house, which was a boy. He long graduated and left as well, so he left his items. So basically that was his old bed. There was one bed in the middle, and this place was infested with mosquitoes. Naturally, it was just infested with mosquitoes because it was always raining in that country. It was green. I don't remember every day of my life that I slept in that room, but what I do know is I cried almost every day. I didn't even know what I was crying about, but somehow I wasn't making noise when I was crying. At the same time, this house was known to have, it wasn't known, it proved time and time again, because it was a storage unit, that it had scorpions and snakes that would pass by was like an en route station for all the creepy crawlies. And I barely bathed. In fact, I never bathed at all. And this lasted for about 2 months. And I didn't take one single bath that I remember because I had sores. I had sores. I think I'll continue in a bit.